There it goes.
All right. Hello and welcome to Hump Day Hangout, episode 359 on August 30th of 2023. Summer is almost over in Europe. Things are good. I'm not in Europe at the moment, still enjoying summertime. And I'm overall excited about Pofu Live because it's, I think, 30 days or so till we actually hit Pofu Live. We will start it off. It's quite a nice event. So super excited. So if you haven't signed up, make sure you check out pofulive.com and join us there. You're definitely welcome. How are you doing today, Bradley?
Busy, man. I spent 5 hours in high level trying to get this custom integration configured, and I probably got another 5 hours to go. So I'm really trying to get this shit done. It's very frustrating, but I'm close. I'm getting closer. I've been saying that for 3 weeks, but I'm getting closer to having that ready, which I need to have ready for the live event and everything else. So it's coming.
We better cut that clip out right there and use it for your soon to be launched service for high level, because you're saving all the time. How many hours? 15, 20?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Over the last month, I've spent countless hours trying to get this integrated. But the whole purpose of this is so that a couple of reasons. Number one is to overcome the A2P compliance bullshit that we have to deal with now. So the idea is that for new program members that come in for the directory hybrid agency program, we will provide the high level account for them, their agency sub account, and then we will also provide their clients sub accounts for the offers that we will be providing and promoting as the directory hybrid agency services. So there'll be pre-configured high-level sub-accounts for the agency and then the agency's clients that will be managed through us, so that you guys, our program members, don't have to worry about any of the technical setup. That's what stops most people dead in their tracks, is the technical setup. And so I don't want that being a reason why people don't have success. So that's why I'm going through almost a month now, and a lot of money and a lot of time trying to get this custom integration developed so that we can do that and provide that for our members. And our members can then go off, spin off sub accounts for their clients. And then the actual agency sub account is the one that sends out the client notifications to the customers of the agency's clients. So in other words, the only other way to do this would be to actually set up a sub account for a client and then get them A2P registered and compliant and all of that, approved for A2P compliance. That takes, it can take several weeks, and it might not even get done at all, depending on whether they have all the appropriate documentation, et cetera. So that would prevent people from being able to activate or do the database reactivation and review solicitation campaigns, which is a big part of getting results very quickly for clients. So the way that I'm working on this custom integration is so that the agency master sub account will actually be the one that sends out the notifications, SMS notifications, and everything else, because the agency account is A2P compliant and they are acting on behalf of the client. So they're sending notifications on behalf of the agency's client, if that makes sense. So it's just a real pain in the ass, because what we have to do is get data to push back and forth between the master sub account and the client sub account. And it almost has to be like a two-way communication between two high-level accounts. So it's a lot of trial and error. Everything I ever do in high level is a lot of trial and error, but I'm getting there. I'm getting closer and closer by the day. So I hope to have it done within the next few days, man. I was hoping to have it done today, but it's going to take me at least another day, if not two, to get it done. So anyway,
it's what it is. So in case you're interested in this and more, and want to have priority access to actually get access to this nice training, make sure you're a mastermind member, because mastermind members will be the first ones who will be notified about it and will be the first ones who actually be able to join that. It's not included in the mastermind. I'm saying this up front. But if you're in a mastermind, you got certain perks. So don't miss out. Let's just say that.
That's for sure. Right on. Well, what other announcements do we have? We got Pofu Live coming up.
That's true. I already said that. We got Pofu Live coming up. That's basically how I started. I'm super excited about it. So make sure if you want to join us there, pofulive.com. Bradley will talk about like all kinds of like agency stuff and on as well, like similar to like what you just heard. We get a couple guest speakers as well. So like you definitely will not be missed out on that then. And yeah, there's also the VIP event. Highly recommended to join it as well, because that's always where like the secrets are like kind of like passed through, things that can't be shared online or like said online in public. So if you want to get access to that as well, check out PoForLife.com and make sure you secure a ticket while they're still available, and you can actually lock in your price. I think they're going up in price again like in 2 days or so on 1st September. Not sure if Adam set it up, but like
I don't know. Adam's on the other side of the world, so his time
like
zone's all screwed up now, and so it's been difficult, been challenging for the last few days.
Definitely. All right, I think that's it from announcements. Except you got anything else?
Yeah, just to talk about Adam while he's not here because he can't defend himself.
Yeah, like
I'm kidding. Just for those of that don't know, Adam is the glue that holds Semantic Mastery together. so
pretty much
when he's inaccessible or not really readily available, we start to come apart a little bit. and it's funny because I always tell him like, man, you can't leave for more than a day or two. So anyway.
Well, he can leave, he can keep running in the woods, just make sure you show up at least every other day.
Yeah, a critical part of our organization for damn sure. So anyway, well, let's get into questions, guys. This morning we didn't have many, but I asked on Twitch for people to seed some questions, and sure enough, there's a lot more now. So very good. We got questions to get through. I'm gonna grab the screen and we'll get into it. And if we have any available time afterwards, we'll jump in chat. So let me grab the screen and get going. Hopefully you guys can see everything. All right. First and foremost was Matt. He says, what are the top 3 strategies for helping a client rank on the search grid outside of their immediate local area? Well, there's geo pages and posts or whatever that can help. CTR manipulation can help, or even buying ads traffic with, within a specific geographic targeting area that can help. Getting reviews can help. Manipulated map URLs, which is kind of part of CTR stuff that you can do. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. And in fact, it's becoming more difficult to do that anyway. So a lot of times you have to combine different methods to get it to move. It's not as easy as it used to be. And Google's narrowed the proximity considerably and continues to do so. And it's funny because I've had this chat with a lot of clients recently. And they say, well, how do we explain that to our clients? And I say that, you be honest with them. You tell them like, hey, listen, it sucks that they're narrowing that Google is narrowing the proximity with which it maps that will show them, Google business profile. So the coverage area continues to get smaller, but it's all relative because it's not isolated to just you and your clients. Or if you're talking directly to a client, it's not isolated to you and you just your business. Mr. Contractor or Ms. Business Owner or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's all relative. All of your competitors are experiencing the same thing. So we're all in the same boat. It doesn't, there's some comfort to be had in that because at least it's not isolated to just your location, Mr. Client or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point is that, it's not as bad as if it was just isolated to one. It would be terrible, but it's across the board. So that's what we have to, those are the constraints that we have to stay within those constraints is what I'm saying. And it is what it is, but there are a number of ways to expand it. Like I said, you can do geo posts. And so you can add more geo relevance, but a lot more of it is about signals now than it is about the actual relevance. Relevance can help, but it's more about signals. And so that's why CTR manipulation, Google ads traffic, which is, that's not really manipulation. I guess it kind of is, it can be, but traffic signals. And within specific geographic areas can help. Manipulated map URLs, we talked about that already. Reviews can help. I was talking about this with a client of mine the other day about saying like, listen, when you reply to reviews, when you respond to reviews, it's good that you work mentions of keywords and or cities and, you know, locations in the review replies. But one thing that I recommend, especially for service area businesses, is that when they reply to a review, if they can mention something, even like the neighborhood that the house was in, or the, you know, wherever the location was, assuming it's a residential type of service area business, mention the neighborhood or the area of the town or the city or whatever that it's in, because that makes, remember, Google is showing hyper localized results based upon what it first thinks the search intent is, and number two, where the browser is geolocated for the user, if that makes sense. So, you know, injecting into a review reply something like a neighborhood name can help that Google business profile to actually rank if a searcher is in the neighborhood and searches for a keyword or keyword near me, right? That's relevant to that business. That profile can actually pop just because that neighborhood name was mentioned, right? And Google understands that that user that's searching, that Google searcher, is actually in that neighborhood at that time. So it's very, very powerful strategy. It's something that I've been testing with a few of my clients that actually do, you know, participate or contribute into helping optimize their Google business profile. I don't have many, but I have a few that actually take photos out on site. That's another one, by the way, is if it's a service area business, or I guess it doesn't have to be a service area business. Almost all of my clients are service area businesses, but having the like tree guys or pest control guys or whatever, while they're out on site taking photos and or a short video clip while they're on location from their phone, right? Everybody has GPS enabled on their phone now. So taking photos and or a video or both from the location, wherever they're doing a job, and then uploading it directly to the Google Maps profile, the Google business profile through Google Maps, right? Not through the Google business profile app, but directly through Google Maps. And I think they even discontinued the Google business profile app, but just uploading them as like user submitted photos and or video to the profile. And that's also another great signal that one and done won't do it. But if you do that consistently, you can start to push Maps kind of proximity into the areas where the business is consistently doing jobs, if that makes sense. So there's a number of things that can be done, but it's definitely becoming more difficult. And so a lot of times you have to combine multiple methods. Hopefully that's clear. We're going to move on to Mitchell. He says, hey guys, what are some good affordable call tracking solutions that work in Australia? I don't know. Call Rail, I know does a lot of, is probably one of the bigger ones that most people use. I don't know how affordable it is because they keep changing their pricing all the time, like all the time. So, and I don't know if it works in Australia. And unfortunately, I don't have any, my projects myself in Australia. I have white label clients that have projects in Australia, but I don't. So I don't have any of that kind of infrastructure set up. So I couldn't really tell you about stuff specific in Australia. But I know CallRail is one that has the kind of functionality that you're asking about, that we can use to forward to client numbers, but track for PPC marketing efforts. Also, if possible, something which can dynamically change the phone number on the website based on the source of traffic, so calls can be attributed to different campaigns. I'm pretty sure CallRail can do that. Dynamic phone number changing, but I'm not 100% sure because that's a little bit more than what I typically do. But I'm pretty sure CallRail can do, CallRail can do that. I don't know of any other services that have as much advanced functionality just because I've not really used any. I've used CallRail myself for years. I still have a CallRail account, but I only keep that open because of my real estate business. I still have some phone numbers in there that I probably just port them over to another service, but I haven't. So I still have a CallRail account, but I've just been using Twilio numbers from High Level for the last 2 or 3 years. So I just do everything through High Level or Lead Connector, as they call it. So as far as call tracking solutions, like I said, the only one I ever had experience with was CallRail. Okay, so you might want to look into that. If anybody has any suggestions, let them know in chat. Hey, Anselmo and Will and Richard and James. Cecilia, what's up, everyone? Will, Scott, can you link the Twitch channel for us non-Twitchers? Yeah, go to twitch.tv/Bradley Benner. Or go to twitch.tv and search Bradley Benner and you'll find it. Will says use CallRail. We use CallRail because of its analytics connection. It's good for attribution. Yeah. And Will, since you use, and you probably use it on a more advanced level than I did, does it have dynamic phone insertion or number insertion? I think it does. I think I remember seeing that as one of the more advanced setups, but I'm pretty sure it does. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Okay, so Albert says, what are some good ways? Sitting Toad says alternates to CallRail, call tracking metrics in Nimbata. All right, let me just very quickly take a look at these. I'm just curious because I know other people have asked me this in the past too. So call tracking metrics. Okay, there's one. And Nimbata. If that's how you say it. I don't like this generative search thing. A lot of times it's gives some really shitty information. There you go. Well, there you go. There's two more in chat that you could try. Those two right there. I don't have any experience with them, but there you go. Albert says, what are some good ways to sell review management apps to local clients? Trying to think of the best way to approach cafes in my local area and other places like hotels that could benefit from a good solution. I've tried cold email, but many didn't respond, or the few that did say they already had an agency, but they don't have anything in place for reviews. Well, I mean, you could always sell just review solicitation. You could try. One of our mastermind members is now a partner of mine at Tree Care HQ. I offered him a partnership position so we can continue developing the prospecting and sales method and integrating with the directory hybrid agency model and all of that. Anyway, why I brought that up was because originally all he wanted to do was sell reviews, and that was it, nothing else. But he discovered after about 1.5 years of really trying to just sell reviews that reviews are, most clients are going to want more than just reviews, and reviews have a significant influence on at least the velocity reviews, and the review velocity, meaning the speed with which you collect reviews, can have a significant influence on local SEO, right? Maps ranking. So over the last 1.5 years, as Harry was kind of trying to sell reviews, and that only, he discovered that, getting several reviews, setting up a good review solicitation campaign, and then executing it well and getting an influx of reviews very quickly can make the Google map or the Google business profile just kind of explode, like just blossom and just go from red to green. And it's very, very powerful. It's very effective right now. Reviews are incredibly effective for helping maps rank quickly. And so that's something else that, you could try to just sell reviews if you want, but he's even switched away from just pitching reviews to pitching reviews and maps coverage. So territory area coverage. And that's essentially what we're going to be pitching as our kind of front end service for the directory hybrid agency program, is what we call Brand Builder, which has a database reactivation or list reactivation and review generation or review solicitation campaign combined, which that can provide an immediate effect, an immediate SEO effect for the client, as well as generate immediate revenue, right? From database reactivation and then the review solicitation campaign, because they're kind of done in tandem. Database reactivation can generate immediate revenue, what I call shaking the bushes, which is literally taking your old contact list and then sending them an offer, right? Just reminding them that you're there, or that the client, the business is still there. And that can generate immediate revenue. And in the reviews can help the Google business profile to rank. So within 30 days, as long as you can get that database reactivation campaign and review solicitation campaign set up and deployed within the 30-day period, really within the first 10 to 14 days, should be able to see a result from that. So why did I say all that? Because you can try to just sell reviews, but it seems to be more effective if you can sell reviews, but also additional benefits, right? If that makes sense. So our pitch is really going to be about expanding maps coverage area, right? That's basically what we're going to be talking about, or using as our pitch. So you could try that. You could try just doing straight up review stuff for a very inexpensive cost. I've talked about this before, but in talking with Harry, when he was trying to just sell reviews, he wanted to sell them at $300 a month, like the setting up and managing the review campaigns for $300 a month. And I said, well, good luck with that. You know, I wish you the best. and I said, I sell the exact same service for $100 a month. And the reason why is because it's such a low, it's easy to set up. And then once it's set up, it runs on autopilot. And so for me, it was like, I just wanted it to be a very low barrier to entry, very, you know what I mean? Like very inexpensive, so that it's almost impossible for people to say no to. And then once I get them in and I can show them a little bit of results and start to develop a relationship with them, then I would use that to ascend them up into a higher retainer-based service like SEO services or whatever. So that was kind of my thought process of always just selling them for $100. And I didn't just do review management. I sold access to what I called the lead management app, or the Tree Care HQ app, which was based for tree contractors, which was just a high-level sub account specifically for review generation, and also for managing leads. But a lot of the contractors didn't want to use it for that because they're set in their ways and they don't like using technology, et cetera. So I would just pitch it as like, hey, look, this would be an automated way to generate reviews for your business anytime that you complete a job. And so I'd sell it for $100. And that was just just kind of like a tripwire offer to get them in and paying me and get them using the app. And then I would upsell them through kind of just further developing that relationship. I would upsell them into Google Business SEO, et cetera. So that's kind of the way that I would do it, would be the same way that I just described. And I did that for about 2 years, which is all I did was, a combination. Like I would pitch them SEO services, but if they weren't ready to buy that, take that leap yet, then I would say, okay, look, here's another option. This is a lead management app that will help you to generate automated reviews, and will also help you to close more leads into sales, because it does automated appointments and all that other stuff. But it was only $100. And so I got many different contractors to take me up on that. And then some of them, a percentage of them over the course of a few months I would end up upselling to more SEO, kind of more full service SEO retainers, et cetera. So that's one way you could do it, is just, reach out and try to do something very inexpensively, or try to combine it with another offer that would have an additional benefit. Hopefully that's clear. Okay. Barry says, hey guys, I saw an SEO agency the other day that has pages on their website targeting terms like best SEO agencies in Chicago, and lists heaps of agencies, including all their competitors, but has their own agency at the top of the page with a prominent book now button. As long as you don't link to competing agencies, do you think that's a good idea? How would you approach doing this, and content as well as link building? That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to think through that. I don't know that I would personally do that. It's not a bad idea, but I've not ever done anything like that. And you could link to the competing agencies. Why? I mean, you could no follow them, right? You wouldn't be bleeding any link juice to them, but you could link to them. I don't know that you'd want to. I can understand why you wouldn't want to. How would you approach doing this in content as well as link building? Your guess is as good as mine, man. You know more about this than I do. If you looked at it, I've not even seen that before. I've heard of a few people talk about it. I think one of our mastermind members said doing like versus posts, like one company versus another post, or product versus another product post from a different company or something like that. And that's a way that you can optimize for a competitor's name without being too spammy, I guess that's a way to say it. But yeah, I mean, that's not something I've done, so I don't really have a lot of an opinion on that yet. It's interesting. I've not done it, but it's interesting. And how would you approach as link building? For link building, probably I would link to that page with terms that would be relevant for what it's titled for. So if it's like best SEO agencies in Chicago, I would use variants of that. If that makes sense, right? You'd be competing with like Clutch and big directories and things like that, but it's not impossible. So content, yeah, I guess the content would be just like a directory page. I don't know what else you'd want to put on that. I mean, I don't know. Go analyze what they're doing. You say you saw an SEO agency the other day. You analyze what they're doing and see if you can find others that are doing it. There probably are. So do some best type best of type searches in a few big cities and see if you can find others, and then kind of model that, the ones that are ranking, see what they're doing, and then model that, if that makes sense. Use Google to find other examples, right? And then model what they're doing. Petro says, is there any way to make money with stuff like adfly by sharing links with ads? I don't know. What is adfly? I'm not sure. Sorry, guys, I'm just a local SEO. So some of this stuff about affiliate marketing and some of this other shit, I can't give you an answer. Like I would make it up. If I was trying to give you an answer, it would be like all bullshit for sure, because I don't even, what is adfly specifically? Again, I'm just a local SEO. So I can't really help you with that. Sorry. Moving on. Victor says, in the past, I saw some big media company rank for the name of a game hack or cheat with just an article about the game and a link to buy it from Steam. Okay. Is there a way we can rank for terms like pirated games, etc., but monetize with fully legal offers that benefit the user, but can take advantage of the huge search volumes? Hey, that's a good idea. That's a great idea, actually, man. I don't do affiliate stuff, but that's a great idea, because I know there are, you know, the search queries for products or probably games, because I know there is in our industry for the information product industry doing searches for like cracked, like product name cracked, right? Training product name cracked, or null, NULL, and things like that. It's a way that you can find, you know, pirated stuff. And so I'm assuming you could probably do the same thing with games. I'm not a gamer, but I'm assuming that you there's probably a lot of search volume on that stuff. So yeah, it'd be interesting to test. I mean, you could probably try to rank some pages for that stuff, pirated stuff, but actually have affiliate links that go to the product purchase page, right? I don't know. I mean, it's worth a shot. I would try it. That's interesting. Again, I don't do that kind of work, guys. I'm a local SEO. I stick to local, but that's a pretty interesting idea. And you probably could, if you could capitalize, like, I mean, again, you could just have a page that talks about pirated games and it has links to actual, like, buy buttons, right? Affiliate links. And some people will probably end up buying it, even if they're reading about, like, it probably wouldn't be many, but I don't know, a percentage probably would buy it, right? It's interesting. Kind of an interesting idea. Chris, you got something you want to mention?
No, good. Just came back.
Okay. I didn't know you turned on your camera, so interesting idea. Next is, what are some things you are doing from a data analytics and presentation point of view to always demonstrate value to clients when doing SEO for them? We do simple reporting for my clients because we just integrate everything in the Bright Local. And Bright Local has Google Business Insights and Google Analytics integration. So, and then it also has its own inbuilt local search grid, organic rank tracker, citation tracker, reputation monitor, all of that. So for all of my agency clients, we provide organic search tracking, organic rank tracking, local search grid tracking, citation tracking, GB Insights, analytics, and reputation monitoring. And all of those are in one Bright Local report. And so it makes it easy, because all I do is just send the Bright Local reports. And in fact, the Bright Local will actually email them to the clients direct, although I end up sending a separate manual email to my clients with the link to the report, because the Bright Local emails always go to spam for some reason. So anyway, so that's all I do, is I just show them on a monthly basis, rank reports, which can fluctuate, but generally we're looking at Google Business Insights and analytics. And also, one thing that I wish Bright Local does, which it does not, because I still have a VA that does this, is we take screenshots of Search Console data too. So we take screenshots of just the performance screen, the chart at the top. So, and we do that every month so that you can see the impression counts. And we say it should be trending up over time, the impression counts, and it's and that's it. That's what we do. That's all I do for my reporting, and it works well. And I've never had any of my clients complain about it. So that's what I stick with. Everything's in Bright Local except for the Search Console screenshots that we take. And everything else integrates directly with Bright Local, which makes it easy and efficient. I used to do a lot more reporting, which it sucked, because I would end up spending 2 days at the beginning of every month just preparing reports. And then finally I ended up developing an SOP and training some VAs to where I didn't have to do it as much, but it was still very time consuming. And eventually I just got smart and consolidated everything in the Bright Local and just let Bright Local do the reporting. And none of my clients gave me any grief about that, because I got several clients still that we used to get the reports from us that we did very manually, and they were a lot more detailed. And as we transitioned into just using Bright Local reports, because it automates everything and makes everything so much easier, I never caught any resistance from any of my clients over it. So I probably spent way more time doing manual reports than I needed to. Hopefully that's clear. Cecilia says, Flowster is great for SOPs and giving tasks to VAs, et cetera, for keeping track of the overall progress of an entire client project and client management. As a whole for the business, what would you recommend for a small agency that doesn't have a large team? Well, I'm going to tell you what okay, so we use, for semantic links, because that's by far where I have the most clients, right, is under semantic links. We use ClickUp as our project management app, Flowster for our SOPs, for training and SOPs, ClickUp for project management, and we use SPP as kind of our marketplace and CRM. And I use high level still to a degree, as kind of the front end, which is getting I use high level as the CRM for semantic links for my agency, for me prospecting and setting, sales calls, appointments, and sending out appointment reminders and everything else. All that's done through high level. Okay. But as far as management, we use SOP or Flowster for SOPs and training, as you just described, ClickUp for project management. And then, like I've talked about in a mastermind dozens of times, the Fusio app is our database app, is what we use to keep track of all the records for all of our clients. Because link building, we keep track of every link and every anchor text that was ever placed for any one of our clients, and we have access to that. It's all in the database. It's probably overkill for a small agency. I would say SPP is fantastic, Cecilia. I can't say enough good things about that, because SPP makes it so much easier. It acts as a CRM, and it's got a support system built into it. Payment history, payment processors. It's got so much to it. It's just such a great app. We've got 3 full accounts, or actually 4 now, I think. Local Fury, Semantic Mastery, or Semantic SEO, Semantic Links. 3. We've got 3 accounts right now. So SPP, this is fantastic. For a small agency, guys, this is probably or even a big agency, this is probably the best thing that I can recommend. Flowster for SOPs and training, and this for everything else, right? This is a client app, right? So I wouldn't use this for a CRM for like prospecting and sales. Again, high level is hard to beat for that, but this is fantastic for managing services and products, and you can have one-off products, recurring services, subscriptions, all kinds of stuff. You can add coupons, you can have affiliates in here. So you can actually have affiliates go out and sell your services. There's just a ton of things that I like about this. This is a really good ad. The support is really good. They respond very quickly. I can't say enough good things about Service Provider. I really like it. So I wish I had discovered this years ago, because it's really, really good. Anyway, good question. But yeah, we use ClickUp, just so you know, for just project management. But we use it at such a basic level. When I first started looking at different project management apps, I looked at Monday and ClickUp, and another one called Bitrix 24 or something like that, something weird. And I spent days over the course of like 3 weeks. I spent multiple days trying to learn how to use different project management apps to see which one felt the most intuitive, and none of them did. They all suck, in my opinion. They're all incredibly complicated, and they have these huge learning curves. I wish they were simpler. So I don't like any of them. I don't even like ClickUp much, but we use it at such a basic level. I even hired a ClickUp expert, because they have a marketplace where you can hire like ClickUp experts. And I hired a ClickUp expert for $300 an hour to try to help me get set up. And again, I just set it up at such a basic level, and that's all we use it for, because we pretty much manage everything else inside of SPP now. So we use it at a very basic level. Okay. Citation Vault has its uses as at a tier 3, occasional tier 2 easy backlinks, and can help with indexing of various properties and take up a spot or two on page 1. However, for those few things, it's quite expensive. Are there any other benefits, as it seems that a few cloud stacks and a press release would accomplish similar goals? Yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of clients, Citation Vault at the agency plan is like $297 a month or something like that. It's worth it then. If you've got, several dozen clients, it's worth it. But if you don't have that many clients, it's probably not worth it. So, and again, I like to use it for just to point directly to the Google Business website or the map share URL. That's how we use it. And then we build links to the Citation Vault URL. If that makes sense. We don't do it to all the others. There's like 300 is supposed to be, but generally you see 297 of them that will get picked up by Majestic. And we don't build links to any of them except for the one on Citation Vault domain, right? All the other domains that they syndicate out to, we don't mess with those. We just do it on the Citation Vault domain. We build links to that one. I've not done it for, I guess you could call that, well, I would consider them tier 1 links because we point them directly to the Google Business assets, right? So that would be a tier 1 link. I've not done them for tier 2 stuff yet, though. Like I'm curious, Cecilia, how you do that. Just to be honest, do you just set up additional listings so that you can also have Citation Vault generate tier 2 links or tier 3 links? I'm just curious how you do that. So, is there anything else that does that? I don't know. There was another provider on Legit that has something. It's a knockoff of Citation Vault. There's a couple of other providers that have similar services that, but you have to pay them to do it. It might be better to, instead of having a subscription, to just pay one off. The problem with that is, because I've got a lot of link building clients that have purchased Citation Vault from a vendor on Legit or some other marketplace. And then later, when they find out that it probably wasn't a great idea to point directly to their money site, they go back and try to get the vendor to go edit the listing to change the target URL, and they can't get them to do it. I've had a number of clients that just, they can't do it. And they're like, hey, can you? No, that's not, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, so I don't know that you'd want to buy that kind of a service from a vendor because they don't support it afterwards. If you buy directly from Citation Vault, you can get, you can go in and edit them yourselves. But doing it through a vendor for a one-off purchase or one-off sale, it's like pulling teeth trying to get most vendors to go back, or at least the ones that I've had interaction with through my clients. Said it's very difficult to get them to change things. So anyway, all right, let's get into comments. Still got 20 minutes. Richard says, interested in hearing each of your responses as to how you see AI impacting the digital marketing space. Oh, that's a loaded question. I don't know yet. I mean, like, I've been playing around with that search, generative search or whatever the hell it's called from Google. And sometimes it's pretty cool, but a lot of the times it provides inaccurate data. And so I'm not crazy about that. I'm probably going to disable it because it's distracting right now. Peter Drew is going to be speaking at our event, or at least providing a presentation. I don't know if he'll be piped in live because he's in Australia, but he'll at least provide us a presentation for the event. And that's what he's going to be talking about, is AI and its effect on SEO. He's just spent a lot of time, months and months and months now, well, almost a year now, really kind of digging into AI and how, and so I would consider him much more of an authority on that than I am. And I'm actually waiting to see what he has to share with me before I have much of an opinion on it, because I've not spent a lot of time digging into that, just because I've been overwhelmed with trying to get this directory hybrid agency program done. So once that's launched, I'll have a little bit more bandwidth. It would be interesting to have that discussion, though. Richard, perhaps we could table that as a discussion for specifically next week for the Build with Bradley group, the discussion group. That would be a good one to get the ideas, opinions from others in the group. Dynamic number inserting. There you go. Sitting toad. What key areas are you looking to leverage AI? For me right now, it's just been data. It's made it easier to collect and gather information. Content, obviously, but I've been using it a lot for data, like asking questions. Again, like when I do audits and I'm not familiar with a particular business type, or like what the most appropriate schema type is, I'll go to ChatGPT and ask, like, what is the most appropriate or most specific local business schema type for this type of a business? And then it comes back and gives me the answer, and I'll go double check it to confirm that that's accurate. But things like that, extracting entities, named entities from a Wikipedia page, things like that. All that kind of stuff is, for me, I've just been using it for data to kind of help assist with, research and things like that. Will Scott, recent FTC ruling prohibits top lists with yourself artificially on top. Really? I can understand that, Will. That makes sense. Top list with that's good to know. It's good to look. It's good to know these. Sometimes, they say ignorance is no excuse, right? Ignorance is bliss, but you can also get in trouble by not following the law. So that's good to know. Thanks, Will. Cool. I remember SPP a long time ago. We'll revisit. So many platforms, so little time. Yeah, Cecilia, like I said, I think probably the best from all of them that if I had to only choose one as an agency owner, it would probably be SPP. Especially if you have productized services, right? Because then there's not the complexity of doing. And so Cecilia, I don't know if that's going to work for you, right? Because when you have nothing but customized SEO services, I don't know that SPP will benefit you, but I'm giving you a hard time intentionally, by the way. Productized services, though, it works really well for that. And you could sell, hourly consultation and things like that in there if you wanted. What is SPP? Service Provider Pro, Richard. That's what we're looking at here. It's called Service Provider Pro, or spp.co is the URL, but that's this dashboard like platform for agencies. It's really good. It's really good. I like it a lot. Cecilia, the social link entries and Citation Vault for the profile, you don't have to put in a social. For example, LinkedIn URL could be, say, a GStack or a cloud site or whatever you want, just funky anchor text. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you. Yeah, and I usually don't. I mean, we'll put in like the YouTube channel, and but I've not tested that, not played around with adding other links into those fields, because for me, it was more about the entity association of the social profiles and just corroborating the data, right? Excuse me. And someone says, in Majestic, if the domain has trust flow, but the URL of the domain doesn't, would you buy it? Remember, Anselmo, you got to check if the domain has trust flow. Remember, look at the root domain and then analyze go to the backlink tab or backlink view, looking at the root domain, and then it should be sorted by trust flow. It generally is. If not, you can sort it by trust flow, but look, and there has to be a link, backlinks that are pointing to that domain that are justifying that trust flow value. If you don't see any of those, like if in other words, if the domain has trust flow and you're looking at the backlink profile and none of the backlinks have the trust flow values that would support what the domain is showing, then it's only a matter of time before that trust flow disappears from that domain. So I would encourage you not to buy it. If it does have backlinks that justify or are responsible for the trust flow that you're seeing, but it's just not transferring to one, like you see it on the root domain, but it's not on the homepage version of the URL, it's probably because it was misconfigured at some point or whatever. But what I found with buying domains for building, rebuilds, or even doing, blogs, niche relevant blogs or local blogs or whatever, is once you set up, if you configure it properly, once you get it hosted, the domain hosted, and all 4 versions of the homepage URL resolve to whatever the current version is, right? So it's configured properly. It's just a matter of a week, sometimes 2 weeks, but usually within a week, the trust flow will transfer. to whatever the current version of the homepage URL is. What do I mean by that? Because I know some of you guys are probably going to ask what the fuck I'm talking about. 4 versions of the URL. So let me demonstrate this. Grab the notepad file here. All right, so we'll just use semantic mastery as an example. So typically, right, so this is our homepage URL right now, semanticmastery.com. But that's only one version of the URL, right? If it's configured properly, all 4 versions of this that right here are going to all resolve to the same location. Does this make sense? So the point is, if you look at a root domain and it has, so if you're looking at the root in Majestic and it has trust flow value, but for whatever reason, one version of the URL does not, it probably means there was a misconfiguration or something that wasn't proper, because it should transfer. And that's why I said, like, I'll see that all the time. We see that all the time when we buy domains. And so that's why if anybody's ever purchased a custom rebuild from me, sometimes the rebuild's on HTTP, sometimes it's on HTTPS, sometimes it has www, sometimes it doesn't. Why do we publish and deploy the sites on that URL the way that we do? Well, because we go to the Pages tab in Majestic, right? So you go to look at the root domain, and then you go to the Pages tab in Majestic, and you can see the different versions of the homepage URL, and you can look at the trust flow value and see what is the highest trust flow value, which version of the homepage URL has the highest trust flow value, and then we deploy the site on that version of the homepage URL. Does that make sense? However, like I said, with niche relevant blogs and local blogs, etc., that we deploy them on HTTPS with www. And so I was concerned a year ago when we started building them, or a little bit over that, that the trust flow values would not transfer, but they do. It just takes about a week, sometimes a little bit more, but it takes about a week. So now I don't care what version of the URL for whenever I'm going to publish a blog on the domain. I don't care which version of the URL homepage URL had the highest metrics, because all of them resolve to the most current version once we deploy a blog, and it's going to transfer to there anyway. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's clear. ChatGPT Will says ChatGPT does a mean schema too. Yeah, I've done it. I've done a little bit of work with that too. James says, I had 2 domains hacked and 20,000 HTML pages built and indexed. Do you think these are now fucked, or should I disavow and build them out as planned? That's a good question. I don't know. I think if you built an index, do you think these are now fucked? Should I disavow? Why would you what would you be disavowing though? Right? Disavow is usually telling Google to ignore backlinks that are pointing to something. So if those 20,000 pages were pointing to a URL that you own, then you could go in, in other words, like if you have a domain that has backlinks pointing to it from those 20,000 spam pages, then you could go in and disavow those links that are pointing to your domain. But what I would do is just delete the pages. I don't know. I'm not sure I understand why you would disavow those unless the spam pages were pointing to one of your other domains that you already have in Search Console. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're asking, James. But yeah, I'm just not sure I understand what you're asking. Disavow is when you're telling Google to ignore backlinks to a domain that is in Search Console. So anyway. Disavow, probably wrong word to use. LO. Okay, yeah. I need to de-index all of the junk pages. Yes. Okay, got you. Yes, that is the better. That's what I would do. Just delete them, and if it's in Search Console and you delete all that stuff and then you resubmit the sitemaps and get Google to crawl it, it'll take some time, but they'll all drop back out. And I've had real valid domains, not just stuff for SEO purposes, but like client sites that have been hacked over the years, that same kind of issue. And it's a temporary kind of loss when that occurs, but go in, you clean it up, you take care of all the security measures to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And then I've never had any problem with those sites coming back to their former glory, so to speak. It's just a temporary setback while you're getting the cleanup. I'm just saying, I've not had any client sites where we've had to kill the domain and start over, if that makes sense. We didn't have to migrate to a different domain. We've always been able to clean it up. And it's happened a few times to clients of mine over the years. One service that works really good for this, which I recommend to all of my clients whenever they experience some sort of a hack, is this: Securi. And so anytime I've ever had a client that's been hacked, I just tell them, look, this is what we need to do. We go hire Securi to do a malware removal and unfuck the site, basically. And we pay them for that, which is usually a one-off fee. And then there's the ability to subscribe to where they, anytime that ever happens, you can just submit a ticket and they clean it up within 24 hours, usually a lot quicker. And so one of my clients, a pest control client that I've had since 2014, who does tick and mosquito control, and more recently they started doing actual general pest control. When I first took them on as a client, they had one of their technicians that had either recently been fired or he quit or whatever, and he spent like 2 years building porn links to their site. I'm not kidding. and I bring this up because I don't know if it was something that he did or if it was because of all the porn links that he had been building to their site. I would go in and about once per quarter, every 3 months or so, I would go in and disavow all the porn links. But why I brought that up was because during that time, his site got hacked. The pest control company site got hacked, and that's how I got introduced to Securi, and we used them, and it cleaned the site up. And then over the course of like the next year and a half, the guy kept building links. And again, I don't know that the reason that the site was hacked was because of him, but it seemed like a coincidence, right? And he kept at him, and the guy was persistent for like 3.5 years. I'm not kidding. It's like, man, he must have been pissed off and had a lot of time on his hands. But so it was like for 3.5 years, no kidding. I had to go in and disavow every quarter, disavow all the porn links, and his site got hacked, I don't know, 5 or 6 times over the course, not just in that period of time, but over the course of since they were have been a client of mine, excuse me. So the last 9 years, I guess they've been hacked 4 or 5 times, but we've had Securi on there for years. And every time anything happens, we just submit a ticket, and within 24 hours, usually a lot faster, it's all cleaned up. So. Called out again. Keyword driving, but we'll check it out. Okay, James, they are recoverable, especially if you use a service like Mal. Oh, there you go. Well, sorry, I didn't even see your comment, man. That's funny. Awesome. I've not tried Malcare. I've been really happy with Securi. So it was using Namecheap hosting, going to, yeah, James, that's why. Well, I'm not saying that's entirely why, but I wouldn't use Namecheap hosting. I like WPX hosting. I really do, for their support. They're secure. Their support is phenomenal. WPX hosting is really good. Anselmo, say I want to create a blog about a specific niche. Would you recommend building the blog on the money site or on a different domain? Well, I mean, is it going to be specific to a particular client or project, Anselmo? I'm just curious. I'm not sure I understand the question. I know you recommend to build blogs and Web 2s, but I have an EMD for the specific niche, and I thought it would be better to build on it. Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm not sure I understand why you say I like to build blogs on Web 2s. I only do that for clients that have an existing website, because I won't mess with their existing website. I don't mess with other people's websites. I don't care, client or not. I don't do it. I tell them, look, if you've got an existing website somebody else built and you want to keep that site, that's fine. We're not going to touch it. We will provide you with optimization instructions and consultation, and clear instructions and videos explaining what needs to be done and how to do it, that you can send to your webmaster and they can execute it, but we're not touching your damn site. And so when that happens, then we publish content on external branded blogs instead. So WordPress, Tumblr, G-Site, etc. And we kind of build topical authority to the local entity through external branded blogs instead of a direct to their money site, because I'm not going to touch their stupid site. And that's just a policy that I created for my own agency after nightmare of a time, as I'm sure many of you can relate, trying to work on other people's websites that you didn't build, because there are so many theme developers and plugins and all kinds of stuff out there. It's impossible to know how to be proficient in all of them. And so, like I said, I probably 5 years ago now, maybe 6, I made a policy where I said, that's it. If I don't build the site, if we didn't build the site for the client, we're not touching it. Full stop. And that's it. And so if a client wants to work with us and they don't have access to a webmaster or whatever else, then I tell them that's fine. We'll replace your site and we won't even bill you for the site build. We're going to charge you $150 a month for management and to maintain the site. And that includes hosting and everything else. And so I get paid $1,800 a year per website that way, as long as they're a client, if that makes sense. So anyway, I prefer to do blogs on the money site if it's going to be for a particular client. Put it on the money site because you can build topical authority to the domain so much quicker. Hopefully that's clear, Anselmo. So all those porn links is what negative SEO is. Yeah, well, I'm sure that was why you did it, Anselmo, was he was trying to negative SEO and hurt the brand. And but I was very diligent in cleaning that shit up on a regular basis. So you said it's for a lead gen, it's for a lead generation site in the same niche. Yeah, I mean, if it's for a specific lead generation site, I would go ahead and just build it on the domain. What the other option would be, like if it's for a specific project, sometimes it makes sense to put a blog on a subdomain, depending on the type of project and everything else. But yeah, I would rather have a blog on a domain than I would using Web2s and things like that. I mean, I love blogs on domains, especially if you're hunting down domains that already have topical trust flow in the appropriate categories, et cetera, like what we teach at Semantic Mastery. That's fantastic. I mean, I've been proving this before. Let me pause real quick. We're about out of time anyway, but I do want to show something real fast. I think it was Wellston, Ohio. Yeah, there it is. Son of a bitch. Take a look at this. This is a CTRify site that I was testing. I just wanted to test, and this was several months ago. All I did was as I was actually developing training for my team on how to hunt down local domains. That's when I found this domain, because I was just developing the SOPs for my team, which it's crazy. They build 25 to 30 local blogs per week right now. It's insane. We're well over 500 now. Anyway, this one right here, this was a domain that I had found when I was developing the SOPs for how to hunt down local domains for my team. And so I found this and I said, you know what, I'm going to do a test. And I bought this domain because it had local backlinks pointing to it. It was expired. It was an old tree service contractor's website. And so I bought the domain. I mean, guys, let's just go take a look at the link profile real quick, just so you can see there's nothing strong about this. It had local links, which is why I'm trying to tell you guys about how powerful local links can be, or links with geographic relevance. Stand by 1 second. Local links matter, man, for local ranking, or links with geographic relevance, I should say. Oh yeah, take a look at this. All right, so here we are in Majestic. I'm going to go to the, God damn it, I just did it again. Fucking Zoom. I guess I can't do it when I'm screen sharing. There we go. All right, so this was a domain that I purchased, like I said, that just had some local backlinks in it. Didn't even have many. Very few, 21 results. Let's just take a look at this. They're all live. They're all do follow. A few of them have some links, some trust flow, but you can see that none of these are, you know what, some of these links are, anyway, point that I'm trying to make is there was, this domain had some local backlinks. When I was analyzing it, preparing the training, I found it and I was like, hey, this looks like one. I want to do a test. So I put a CTRify blog on it, and that was it. Just, well, tree service, tree care or tree service. I don't remember what the actual keyword was. I think the keyword that I used was tree service in Wellston, Ohio. I think that was the keyword I used to add to CTRify. And it built this blog, and this son of a bitch has been ranking ever since. Like, I think it was like 72 hours and it was on page 1. and it's been ranking ever since. It's not a very competitive term. I get it. But all I'm trying to say is, like, again, links or domains with or links with local relevance have an effect. And I proved it very quickly with this. And putting blogs on those domains, especially, or I'm not specifically a local domain, I'm just using this as an example, but finding a domain with topical trust flow and the appropriate relevant categories of what you're going to put content on that site for can help it to rank so much better. And then if you topic clustered the site, which is kind of what I explain as CTRify sites, then all the content on that site is going to be around that one topic. So it kind of produces topical authority onto the domain, and it can be very effective, like I said, if the domain already has a backlink profile in a relevant category, in the same kind of category, or at least a related category as to what the content is once you deploy the site, if that makes sense. So anyway, I just thought it was really interesting. I've got, in fact, one last thing, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. I'm going to open up Zootrix because I've got a rank tracker in there for various keywords for that project. We'll take a look at it real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Richard says Bradley wants to secretly build websites. I can't stand building websites. I really don't like it at all. I like SEO, but I don't like building websites. Here we go. So here we go. This is that site I was just showing you guys. And let's just sort this way. So these are the main keywords that I was searching. I mean, all of them except for tree pruning is on page 1, right? So those of you that are doing lead gen, I mean, think about that, guys. Go out and hunt down domains with local relevance. I have a training course in the mastermind that teaches exactly how to do it. You can buy it separately if you want, or you can, it's called local PBN command. I think that's what Adam named it. So it's called local PBN command. If you're in the mastermind, you have access to it already. If you're not in the mastermind, join the mastermind and you'll get it, or you can buy it separately for $300, but you might as well just join the mastermind then. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is you can go out and hunt down domains in specific cities and then put these types of blogs on them. And they can rank very quickly. I've not done a fucking thing to this site since I deployed it. And it was just a test, and it's been on page 1 ever since. And so I'm just telling you guys, and then not only that, can you build lead gen sites that way, but then you can also use those lead gen sites as backlinking sources for other projects that are in the same topical categories or geographic regions if you need local links, right? So anyway, all right. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks everybody for being here. We see you guys. We do have a mastermind webinar tomorrow, and I've got two training things that I want to go through tomorrow. I'm going to do an example audit for you guys because I think it's important. So I'm going to go through the 21-point checklist that I do in my audits for clients and kind of do an example with you guys to show you what to look for. And then also SERP Empire, I'm going to show how to set up campaigns and use the Search Console integration with SERP Empire for search and click campaigns. So those are two things I want to share tomorrow on the mastermind. So hopefully we'll